You look you look 10 years younger than you should, because you're in shape, because you eat well, right? Or try to eat well, right? Because you're constantly in shape, you're constantly active, you're constantly on the move. His brother, who's 35, I also did not know he was 35, right? Has the most insane abs I've ever seen on somebody in person at 35. Number one is going to be facial attraction. So even outside of dating, I'm talking about LinkedIn profile pictures, Instagram profile pictures. If you have pictures on a card, if you have pictures on a billboard, on a website, all those things are going to play a major factor in how much money you're going to make or the opportunities that are going to come to you. If you don't have a face that's in shape, you could be actually reducing the amount of money that you're making, commission that you're making, whatever you're trying to sell. You can be reducing the amount of job opportunities you get, because we do bias people that tend to look better, right? Whether we choose to acknowledge that bias or not, it still exists. So if you have a LinkedIn profile picture and you look overweight versus a candidate that looks like they're in shape, that person is sending off a lot more signals of, I'm dedicated, I'm resilient, right? I do what I need to do even if I don't feel like doing it. There's a lot of signals that it sends to the person on the other end, even if they don't realize it, even if you don't realize it, right? So outside of dating, again, obviously a more attractive face is going to help in dating, on dating profiles, even in person. We all know that. But in terms of what you're presenting to the world in a career aspect, again, LinkedIn profiles, websites, you want someone to click on on your website and look at you and say, and give as many positive feedback without saying anything as possible, right? So if you can convey the message of, like I said, confidence, resilience, dedication, commitment, right, consistency, all those things are a part of working out and being in shape, right? So we all know that when we see someone that's in shape, they've accomplished all those things to some degree. Number two is going to be attraction, primal body attraction. So because there's so many men who don't actually have a very in shape body, putting on a decent amount of muscle and then getting lean, I genuinely believe that we forget how powerful that is to a woman. The same way that you look at a woman and she has a nice body, that primal reaction you get when you see that, and you're like, women have the same type of reaction. When you have abs, when you have a nice chest, when you're balanced, when you have strong legs, big legs, but you're also lean, obviously. I'll use examples for me. There's times where I'm not proud of it, but I've been with women who were married before, and the reaction where we were in a location that she would even bring her husband to before, and she couldn't even keep her hands off me because she's squeezing my muscles, she's touching my chest, she's literally trying to stop, she's like, oh my gosh, like, okay, and then she keeps touching it again. Obviously there's different types of attraction when it comes to women. There's financial attraction, there's facial attraction, there's confidence, like the attraction she gets from when you're being confident. But I personally have not witnessed the primal drive that takes over a woman when she sees you with your shirt off and you're ripped, you're strong, right? You look like fucking stallion, right? And this could be in the bedroom, this could be even when she's walking with you. And for example, you can see clips of men who are in shape with their shirt off walking down the street, and you can see how a lot of women are actually damn near out of control when they come through. But it's like we forget that because the majority of men are never going to be in that type of shape, right? The closest that they'll get is maybe high school. We all played on sports teams. We're all more active in high school. We have a gym class, etc. But after that, it's really downhill. It really goes downhill. I work downtown of a major city, and you don't see a lot of in shape guys at all. I've for the first half year, honestly, I've probably seen 5 that are in shape, visibly in shape. The time comes and guys work on all these different things to become more attractive, it's almost like we forget that that's probably the first thing that you should be working on. Uh, we forget that it's probably the first thing you should be working on. But also we forget the power that it actually has because we just don't see it that much. But if you watch other clips, you can watch in movies the way women react to guys with their shirts off, who have really nice bodies. There is something primal that comes out that it's almost forgotten because, again, it's just not that common anymore as adults, right? Not only do you want a woman to be attracted to you for your charisma, your personality, right, your facial looks, your drive, all these different things are important, but you also want that primal reaction too. That primal reaction is sometimes the equivalent of what makes a woman cheat on her long-term boyfriend for the pool guy who has nothing. The quote-unquote pool guy that has absolutely nothing, but is in really good shape. Like, it's that powerful, right? So if you don't want to take control of that, I can't force you to do it, but it's just something to keep in mind. Like, it's one of those things where it's going to give you the most advantage over most men because most men do not have that. Number 3 is going to be sexual strength. So obviously strength is important for everyday tasks, but I'm talking about sexual strength in specific. The ability to easily pick up a woman physically, the ability to pin down a woman in bed, right? And obviously we're talking about consensual. Please, let's be real. Let's be real. An example of where this actually benefited me, and I didn't even realize until after, was seeing a woman consistently in the gym. And I'm very friendly when I'm in certain settings. Like if I feel free in a certain stage of my life, like I feel very happy, very outgoing, right? So there's a woman that I saw every day. She would come in every day, beautiful, honestly, one of the best women one of the best looking women that I've been with, to the point where other guys would come up to me and be like, "Bro, I'm jealous, honestly," like dead ass. But right, this one was the same married one. I've only been with one married one. I'm not saying that to be proud. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you the story of how powerful a lot of this stuff is. We started seeing each other after talking for like a month at the desk, whatever. I'm working at the gym. I think she asked me when was the first time I noticed her, and I must have said something, and I don't remember what I said, but and then I asked her like, when's the first time you, I guess, recognized me or was attracted to me, and she said specifically the time where you randomly came up to me and picked me up. All right, it's like I was just happy walking down the hall in the gym, saw her, she smiled, I smiled at her, I came up just because I already seen her like 20 times already, like, right? So it's not some stranger. I just came up to her, hugged her, picked her up off the ground, put her back, right? And she's like, that's the time where I'm like, oh shit, like that guy's attractive, right? Just because of strength, right? Just the same, like you don't forget, bro. Don't forget that all these things that are lost today, women still like. It's just that a majority of men can't do it. You ask a random guy like, hey, can you pick up this girl with ease? Most guys can't do that, right? Most guys can't dominate a woman in the bedroom like they actually want to be. I've been with women, they're like, thank you for being dominant in the bedroom. Because I've been with guys, this is what she said. Another woman, I've been with guys who, like, I've literally had to tell to be aggressive in the bedroom. And they're like, are you sure? Are you, are you sure? Like, I don't want, it just turns them off, right? So sexual strength is very important. The fourth one is defense or presence. So these can go hand in hand. So defense as in less people are going to mess with you just because you look a certain way, right? Oftentimes the ones that get bullied tend to be smaller, tend to be skinny in terms of people, tend to be weaker, and people take advantage of that, unfortunately. So even you just working out and building a solid frame, a muscular frame, will prevent you from a lot of situations that you might have been in if you were of a different build, right? Just because, again, you're just more intimidating, right? You can be you can be as shy as you want, but the image that you're giving off is my body is armor. Like you don't want to mess with me, dead ass. That's also going to mean that in a lot of situations, people are going to feel more safe around you, right? So I remember being in the gym and a girl was being followed somewhere else, right? She came to the gym. I'm new to the gym, and you can tell she's there. She's there for a long time. She doesn't really want to go back out, right, by herself. She has to walk home, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. So I offer her, like, do you want me to walk you home? Like, and she's like, you want to walk me home? I'm like, yeah, sure, right? But you can also tell that she felt comfortable, not just because she was comfortable around me personally, but you feel much more comfortable if someone that is walking with you, like think about it from a female perspective. If you're small, and even though she was tall, she's small, right? It feels much more safe to walk with somebody who's 230 at the time. I was 230 at the time, or 215, sorry. Having that person essentially protect you on your way through a dangerous situation that you were in previously. That's one thing I noticed when it comes to dating is just you having that presence, that stature, is going to give off a signal to a woman of I feel safe around him, right? If anything happens, again, because less people are willing to mess with you because you're big, she can also assume that less people are going to mess with her if she's with you because you're big, because you give off that presence, right? Most of the guys that I see get tested are smaller, and it's like you just don't want to be in that situation if you don't need to be. And that kind of goes into the fifth reason why you can't afford to be out of shape, which is confidence. Building the body that you want and actually achieving it, I don't know if there's any item that you can buy that makes you feel more confident. To wake up naked out of the bed and see yourself in the mirror and just look at a statue that you created. literally, right? When you put on clothes, you feel more confident. When you walk out the house, you feel more confident. You go in the gym, you feel more confident. You just feel much better about yourself. You know that in any situation, at the beach, you take out your shirt, you're confident. You're not hiding yourself. A lot of people that don't feel confident in their bodies are hiding themselves under clothes, right? We don't think about that, but most people, if you give them the pill, would want to be in shape. Most people just don't get in shape. It does give you a different type of confidence where you've known that you've worked hard for what you have, and people also recognize that, because I think at some point most people have tried to do some type of exercise or physical activity and understand that to do that consistently, to meal prep, to eat right, to curb all the, you know, the easy ways out in terms of diet. Like I could just eat junk food that tastes really good, but I'm refusing to. People know that when they see somebody that is in really good shape, that you've worked very hard to get there. Like a lot of that gives you confidence, right? People compliment you like, oh my gosh, you lift so heavy. Oh my gosh, like you look amazing. All that gives you confidence, right? And that also ties into number 6, which is respect. People, whether they want to admit it or not, do tend to respect people that are in shape, right? Because of the same reason I just said before. Most people, even though they're not in shape, understand that getting in shape is very hard. So when they actually see somebody that's done it, they know that you're more likely to be dedicated, you're more likely to be disciplined, you're more likely to be consistent. That's a big one, because a lot of people are not consistent. So the fact that you're in the gym consistently, eating consistently what you're supposed to be eating, sleeping consistently, right? All those things are positive traits to have. So now someone's coming to hire you, and it's a difference between you and somebody else. Even if they don't recognize, even if they don't acknowledge that this person is confident and this person is driven and this person is dedicated to what they're doing, subconsciously people still get that. They can look at you and say, I trust this person more because in this area of life, even though it has nothing to do with business, they've already proven that when they have a goal, they're going to reach it all the way to the end. Even in the gym, most people will not get the body that they want, even when they're in the gym. They're still farther ahead of the people outside of the gym, right? But most people in the gym are not going to get that peak physique that they always dreamed of, right? They tend to be in a constant state of improvement, then stopping, maybe regressing, and then coming back up, then regressing. It's like this little window, right? Because the amount that it takes to get to that peak physique that they might want, honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of those things that I talked about. So number 7 would be fashion. So Tristan Tate actually talked about this and hit the nail right on the head. People focus so much on brands and designer clothes and how much they spent for a shirt. None of that matters if the body that you're putting it on, we can see that it's unattractive, right? So someone can go buy a $10,000 suit, like you said, and they're going to put it on, and it can't hide the fact that you have a gut. It can't hide the fact that you have a really puffy face. It can't hide the fact that you don't have any muscles. It can't hide the fact that you don't have any, like the clothes look nice themselves, right? But there's a reason why they put clothes on a mannequin that's typically in shape, right? That's the best that is going to look, or that's the best that clothes is going to get the full representation of it, is when it's on a really nice looking body, right? So when you buy clothes that fit and you're in shape, you look so different, right? Because the ratios are popping out. The shoulder to waist ratio is insane, right? You get that back look, that wide triangle look, right? You have the arms with the shoulders capped, you know what I mean? With the strong legs, right? And you having a nice tailored suit on or a tailored shirt on. You can get that from Zara or some random place, honestly, as long as it fits well. But you'll notice that when it fits well, you look better than people that pay thousands of dollars for suits. Now, obviously, the best combination is to have a really nice suit on top of that, right? So, but that's a big game changer, right? Like, don't be one of the people that are going to go out and buy a Gucci shirt thinking that the Gucci is going to hide your gut. Like, people still see that, right? And again, the confidence that you have of having underneath the clothes, you know what you have. You know you have a shield of armor underneath the clothes, and then you put the clothes on, and it adds even more to that. Number 9 would be higher testosterone. So there is a certain point where when you decrease your body fat and put on muscle, your testosterone increases up into a certain point. So obviously, just like you can be too lean, you can be too heavy. There's a peak where your testosterone is the most optimal, along with how your body functions as being the most optimal. I believe it's somewhere around 10 and 13%. I think it depends on the person. I like to think of 11% is really not any different than 10. But when you're in shape, you get that boost in testosterone. Your hormones are more likely to be working on all cylinders, right? Which means you're going to be more sexually driven, which is a good thing. That means you're going to actually want to go out and meet women instead of beating off to porn in your room. No disrespect, but it's like, that's what it is. right? It gives you more motivation when you have higher testosterone, right? People say that it's a hormone that makes hard work feel good, which I wholeheartedly believe, right? When your testosterone is high and you know it's high, you want to take on more challenges, right? It gives you all this motivation. It gives you this drive that you may have been lacking before. That's why eating well tends to boost how you feel, right? You don't feel so sluggish. You feel like, oh, I just had this great meal. It's giving me all this nutrients. It's giving me all this energy, right? But it's also just making your body work more optimally, right? It's like putting the best type of oil, best type of gas inside a race car. Like it's going to perform at its best versus if you just put vegetable oil in a car. Like, you see what I'm saying? So you having your hormones in check based on the fact that you're actually in shape is going to dramatically change how you actually feel. Like you're gonna wake up energized, you're gonna wake up driven, you're gonna be like, I want to go start this business, I want to go start this career, I want to go talk to this woman. Like it gives you this life drive. Like I don't even know what else to call it. Just it gives you this drive where you want to start conquering everything, right? So I like having that feeling. I think that most people that have that feeling are addicted to that feeling because you know that you're gonna get you know that you're gonna get the most out of life when you feel that way, because you're always challenging things. You're always taking on new challenges and then completing them and then getting even more of a boost from that and then going on to face bigger challenges after that. So that's an underlooked benefit of being in shape. Like forget the outer part, just internally, you're gonna feel a lot better and that output is gonna be amazing. Number 9, this is a big one because I've recently seen it with a couple of my friends that I've recently met. When you're in shape, as you get older, please listen to this. The youthful appearance that you can have is honestly insane. Now, the people that I'm talking about are Asian, which obviously there's a stereotype that, you know, Asians don't raisin. Like they age pretty well. But when you're in shape and you have abs in your late 30s and 40, like I recently met a friend that was 39. I had no idea he was 39. I thought he was my age. I'm 29. I had no idea he was 39 at all. He tells me his age. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like you're right. And realistically, that's how it should be. It's just mind blowing because how rare it is. It shouldn't be mind-blowing because 35, you still should be in really good shape, to be honest, right? But I've seen firsthand, like, if you are able to stay lean, especially, because they're not massive guys, right? But they just stayed at a really nice body fat percentage. If you can do that and maintain that, along with being active, because it's not just about being skinny. They're not skinny. They're still strong. If you can maintain that, like, your face just looks amazing. Your body looks amazing. Like, people will not guess that you're getting older. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with getting older. We're all going to get older. But if you can look 29 at 39, they go for it, right? You're still going to have all these opportunities that you might not have had when you were 39. Like number 10 would be money making opportunities. So I've dealt with this personally, not in the sense of making money, but I've been working in a gym where I was not a personal trainer, but because I looked like either I competed or was personal training, I got a lot of muscle on me. There was one time a person came in looking for personal training, right? And they said, I want personal training. They were not talking to me. They're talking to another coworker. They're like, I want to get personal training, but I want it from him. I want it specifically from him. And he's pointing at me, right? I don't personal train. And they're like, oh, he doesn't train. So like, you can't actually get trained by him. But just having that physique, someone walked in, did not know me. And they said, I'm willing to pay this guy money because he's already been through that process. He has a body that I want. He's already done it, so I'm willing to pay for it, right? And personal training in a commercial gym is not cheap, right? So to have someone just willing to do that shows the importance of proof, right? But especially when it comes to just working out, like you might have a friend that does a clothing line, and the first thing that's going to come through their head is, I want someone attractive to model in my clothes. So when I post on social media, they're not going to think about the overweight person. You almost never see overweight people in mass. Like modeling for clothing that people are trying to promote. You almost never see it. You probably see thin people, but you most likely see in shape people that look good facially, but also body wise, right? Because they want the clothes to look as good as possible. So you might have a friend that has a clothing line, and you could reach out to him, or he might reach out to you and say, hey, like, I would like to model the clothes that you have. Or he might reach out to you and say, like, do you mind doing this? Here's a little bit of money. Just like that, just for having a nice body, right? You might get the interview over somebody else because of that bias that I talked about. We like being around good-looking people, but we also have a bias around giving preferences to people that look good. So even if the interviewer doesn't recognize that they have a bias, most of them still have a bias, right? When you see people in retail, they tend to look good, and especially when it comes to higher-end material. So I walk into a Ferrari dealership just to look around. The woman that they have at the front desk is never ugly. I'm sorry, I've never seen it yet. I've never seen it yet, and I've been to the Lamborghini dealership, I've been to the Ferrari dealership, Porsche. Anytime they have someone that's in a position of, I guess, selling something expensive, like the more expensive it gets, the more beautiful the person is going to be on the other end. You can make a lot of money just by having a nice physique, having a nice facial structure, in ways that you didn't even think about before. You thought just, oh, I can just model or I could just be an influencer. But it's like people might reach out to you and say, hey, we're doing a photo shoot and we need people with good physiques on the volleyball beach, the volleyball field or whatever. And we just need people that look like they play volleyball or play sports to take part of this. Like, people reach out to you just for stuff like that, right? Number 11 would be you're always prepared. And this is something that probably one of the things that pushed me to work out the most, because I hated when this would happen to me, is when someone has a pool party. Someone, you want to go to the beach, right? You want to go to a girl invites you over, right? And you don't have that body that gives you that confidence of, yeah, when I go to this pool party, I can take my shirt off and feel like comfortable. I have a nice body, whatever. You're the person that goes to the pool party and, has the hoodie on because they're trying to hide the body because they're ashamed of it, right? And it's like, even if you're not ashamed of it, it's like, it's just always better to be in a situation where you're peaked, you're primed, right? You're ready to go, right? And I know that there's a ton of people that actually will not go to events because they don't feel confident in their body. They don't feel confident in how they look, right? If their face is super chubby, they might feel like they don't want to be seen. So when someone invites them to a party, they're like, I'll pass, right? And they might come up with a different excuse, but a lot of times it's because they don't feel confident in how they look. So they'll punt those events, right? But there's something that feels so good about someone saying, yo, let's go to the beach, let's go to a pool party, let's go to this party, let's go to this event. Especially if it requires on some level for you to take your shirt off, right? You're playing football, you're playing sports, and it's a hot as shit outside, and you want to take your shirt off, but it's like, I don't want my stomach hanging out like that. Like, I don't want my titties hanging out like that. You know what I'm saying? There's something that feels so good about already being prepared for something like that. So, yeah, let's go to this pool party, and you're like, bet, right? You arrive with the shirt off. You know what I'm saying? You just feel so good, like you're already prepared. So, and the thing about that is, when you get that invite, you don't get the opportunity to lose all that weight in a day. Like, that you should have done it. This is why people go, oh, well, I should lose all that weight. I should get on a journey for fitness before summer, right? Because you're trying to prepare your body for events that most likely are going to happen in the summer. When summer happens, like if tomorrow's summer, you're not losing that weight in a day, right? You don't get to prepare in a day. So always being in a stage where you're just ready to go, right? A girl invites you over, you're like, oh, blessed. I'm in the best shape of my life. Everything's working properly. Hormones are working properly. The tool is working properly. I feel comfortable taking my shirt off. I feel comfortable just standing there and having her look at me. Like, you're just ready to go, right? Instead of, damn, like, I wish I was 15 pounds lighter and, I don't like the way I looked. I'm still going to go over, but, I don't really have that confidence like I would. And number 12 would be, it's the only thing that you can start changing immediately, right? So if you're talking about just overall attraction, we all obviously have heard about like financial attraction, charisma, right? There's facial looks, there's body looks, there's, I guess, lifestyle, like traveling and stuff like that. Fitness is the only thing that you can probably start tomorrow and start seeing quick results. Like, you change your diet tomorrow and in a couple days, you probably lost a lot of water weight. That's not uncommon. It's the thing that you can take action on immediately and start seeing results the quickest. Money is going to take a while, right? I don't think there's much opportunity to start a business tomorrow and then in 1 month you're making all this money. It's like, it's not realistic, right? Charisma takes a lot of time to work on. Like, you have to put yourself in social settings if you're not social, for example. Same thing with the lifestyle, that's going to come with money, like, and freedom, which tends to take a lot longer to develop. So fitness is so powerful in terms of how others receive you, how confident you are in yourself, the things that you prove to yourself, in terms of attraction, in terms of how women will perceive you. But it's also the thing that you can start working on tomorrow or today, to be honest, So it's almost like it's the cheapest thing, but also one of the most powerful things. Like, you can't actually afford to skip out on that, right? Making money tends to cost money in the beginning. Like, if I want to start a business and, I want to get on YouTube and I buy this camera and I buy this mic and I buy this, subscriptions, a lot of those things cost money, right? Social events cost time, like, and they're gonna it's gonna be almost like emotional toll because you're trying to be social. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna try again. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna be depressed sometimes. You're gonna be happy sometimes. Like, that shit takes a lot of time. But fitness, you can start that tomorrow, and in I'm not gonna say a month. It depends how far along you are with the goal, but it's like, you can make crazy transformations in 3 months. That's crazy. You can make crazy transformations in 6 months, and 3 months, 6 months goes by like this. Like, you can completely change it, and it's like, it's still the number one is still the number one factor or aspect in terms of attractiveness that most people will not do. Like most people will never get to the goal of being really in shape, that peak physique that they wanted. So you just stand out so much more. You know what I mean? So all it costs is a gym membership, some supplements, protein, creatine, and dedication. And you can outcompete so many other people in all those categories that I talked about for minimal cost a month, honestly. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by you can no longer afford to be out of shape. There's just so many more things that you're losing out on. Uh, there's so many more things that you're losing out on outside of just health. Like health is obviously important, but it's like this goes much deeper than just, oh, my stomach is not digesting food properly. Like it's much deeper than that, and it's unfortunate that most people don't see it that way. But when you actually break down and analyze all the ways that it could benefit you, and you don't have it, you realize all the ways that it's actually a detriment to not be in shape, right? So I'll leave that there. That was first video. Whatever. Boom.